Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumption or belief.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together,
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This is That Thing of Ours. How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Monday, 18th of November, 2024. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net.
and if you,
What's up with your microphone?
No.
I don't know. Well, hold on. There now it is.
hello, okay.
Hello.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on YouTube or Rumble, hit that
Why are
thumbs
you
up.
yelling?
Anyway, if you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, you have like 7 choices. And because my microphone wasn't working, I was freaking out.
Yeah, well, yeah, I get that. How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining. We truly appreciate each and every one of you joining us. Had a great time on Friday with Christian and Jenny.
Yes,
That
we
was a lot
did.
of fun. It's always fun with Christian and Jenny. Anyway, so yeah, that was a good time on Friday,
Yes,
and
hope
then
you guys got to see it. If not, go watch the replay.
something like that.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's say hi to the family.
We
Got
should
F.
say hi.
Clint in the house.
Yo, what's up, F. Glenn?
Got Brother Bill in the house.
Hey, Brother Bill, what's going on, man?
Got Chachi in the house.
Hey, Chachi.
See,
Just kind of
there's
fell flat
Miss
there.
Jenny.
Jenny,
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Let's see. Wrong one.
Wrong
It
one.
Jumped.
It jumped. It
jumps.
jumped. I know it does its own thing. It's about
I
to
know.
jump again.
There's
Hey, Mike.
Mike.
How you doing, Mike?
There's
Thanks
Miss
for joining.
Jan.
Graham Jam. How you doing, Jan?
There is Aaron.
There's Aaron. What's going on, man? Then I know Steph is here. What's up, Steph?
There's Steph.
There's Steph. Hey, Steph.
So glad you're here, Miss Steph.
Trying to get through all of these. It's always an adventure.
Exactly. Thank you, Jenny.
It is
Give
Monday.
me a break.
It is Monday. What's up, Agent Smith? Haven't done a shout out to you
I
in a long
know.
time.
Hi, Agent Smith. You should be happier now.
Yeah, the whole weekend and everything.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
And
why
we
don't
got Chops over on Pilled.
Oh, hey, Chops. Over there, too?
Yeah.
Is he over here on Rumble? I don't know.
No,
We're-
no,
this
no,
is so
just on
confusing.
Pilled.
There's so many places.
I know.
But shout out to Pilled.
Exactly.
All right.
So how was everyone's weekend? Hopefully it was good.
Yeah, hopefully it was a good weekend. Everybody got the rest and relaxation that they needed. I know it's a little bit easier to get some rest and relaxation now that election is over, and it's going to be easier and easier to rest as we get closer and closer to the inauguration. I'm so excited about that. And then Christian and Jenny, they extended that offer to hang out with them at the inauguration, which sounds awesome. I hope that we're able to figure out how we can get there. But yeah, school and all that other jazz, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I thought you were following us on X before. All right. Well, thank you for following us on X now. I do appreciate that, Chops. Cannon chicken and beef cubes and broth. I'm done. Woot woot.
Ooh, sounds good.
I know. Broth cubes. That actually sounds amazing. It's great. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Jenny said she had a busy weekend.
A busy weekend? Mm-hmm. All right.
And then Aaron
the weekends?
The weekends? What is...
Yeah, I know, man.
I know.
Maybe when Trump gets back in office, we'll figure out what weekends are. You know, it would be nice to have 7-Eleven use their namesake to go back to the hours that they, use.
What?
I know. They were only open from 7 in the morning until 11, and then they were closed.
Yeah. See, Jenny's weekend is Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, I know. Jenny's got all sorts of weird hours and stuff.
Now Chops is following us on both X and Pilled. So whoop whoop.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Always in Texas. Also over on Pilled. Just showed up.
Welcome, Always in Texas. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. Oh, where's Carol and Lil Lunker?
I don't know. They're busy tonight.
I guess.
Should we get a move on here? Yeah.
Let's
putzing
go.
around
Can
for a
you
while.
read that?
An election judge in Hubbard County, Minnesota, has been arrested for allowing unregistered people to vote. Huh? Weird.
Interesting.
Huh.
Ready?
I'm sure it was an accident.
Oh, I'm sure. Let's go.
Okay.
An election judge is in some serious trouble for letting Minnesotans vote illegally. Investigators say that the head election judge in Hubbard County allowed 11 unregistered voters to cast ballots on Election Day. Voters can register the day of the election, but this judge didn't make them fill out the paperwork. A judge is now charged with 2 felonies. The maximum penalty is 10 years in prison, up to $20,000 in fines.
Thoughts?
And hopefully never allowed to preside over anything that resembles a courtroom ever again.
Right? Right?
I mean, are they like an actual judge? Like, first of all, what was that? It was a shim. And I couldn't really tell. Hey, okay, Carol.
Carol is here. She just has her hands full.
See, you're sweating, Carol. It's Monday. She's got obviously some Mondays going on.
Jeez. Goodness.
We love you, Carol, despite all the stress that Cade provides.
Oh, my God.
It's the red hair. Anyways. Is it real judge or is it some like bullshit made up kind of judge? I don't know. There's so many like government everything now. There's Little Lunker. We're here cooking dinner. When do you guys get to eat? Never.
Never.
No.
We just starve.
That's all we do.
Can't you see? I'm wasting away.
No, they can't see shit because you never put your camera on.
See? Wasting.
No, you're really. Not really.
No.
No, not even a little bit.
I got a big old booty.
Anyway.
All
right. So, yeah, corrupt judges in Minnesota. Surprise.
I'm so shocked.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm waiting on you, ma'am.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. Please read that.
Matt Gaetz will expose them, which is why they're trying so hard to stop him.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Congressman Gaetz offered to take us on a tour.
So one of the committees where people have a lot of information is the Appropriations Committee, because they can view almost any vector of government funding. And so, this is Mr. Rutherford's office. He's on the Ethics Committee and the Appropriations Committee. 152 stock trades. Stocks go through the roof. And, actually bought Raytheon stock the day that Russia invaded Ukraine.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if every American could make money off of war.
Yeah, setting aside the whole shame and ethics questions. How many more on our hit list here?
There are a few more. I wish there were fewer on the hit list. I wish we could only stop at 1 or 2 offices, but as it turns out, energy is a sector that sees a lot of congressional stock trading.
Sure.
And we have members who are on the Energy Subcommittee of Appropriations, like Michael Guest, chairman of the Ethics Committee, and he's traded somewhere between tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars in energy stocks. He's been buying online gaming stocks and just making a killing on them. So you would think that the people that were on the Ethics Committee would be your best allies in this fight, but indeed they're some of the most prolific traders. And not only trading, but in the case of Mr. Guest, trading in an area where he has access to energy information more so than almost any other American.
And no indication that he wants to maybe slow down, pump the brakes, recognize that there might be some appearance of impropriety here.
It seems as though the pace is only accelerating.
All right.
Thoughts?
So Mike pointed out, notice he's calling out mostly Republicans. So far. So far. I think that's done for a couple of reasons. One of which would be the fact that they're trying to put a lot of these psychotic liberals at ease, thinking that they're only going after the Democrats, when in all actuality, these people have no idea what's really been going on in the background, so they have no clue. So they think that they're coming after the gays and everything that they're really not going after. And so this is part of the, exposure. Hey, look, don't worry. It's not what you think it is. It's going to be a big house cleaning. Going to be some spring cleaning here after Trump gets in office. Early spring, January 20th, 21st, 20th, probably start right away. Anyways, yeah, it's going to be interesting. So yeah, they're pointing that out. What was the other thing that you put up there, Kay? Yeah, the rhino side of the uniparty cancer. Yeah. See, that's the thing is a lot of people don't understand. They still think it's Republican versus Democrat, when in all actuality,
It's good versus evil.
it's good versus evil. And then how do you explain that without making people think, oh my God, it's just another crazy Bible thumper that Hillary warned me about?
Right.
They fly over country kind of people. But that's because of their own ignorance and the fact that they just don't understand.
Yeah.
They don't understand that, no, really, Trump is, keep in mind, how many of these people were Democrats before, Trump ever ran for office, let alone this time around? People came around to the fact that, it's not a Democrat or Republican thing. It's truly an American thing versus truly a royal kind of thing that we tried to escape from Europe. It is going to be biblical, Aaron. I firmly believe that. Chachi says, right, Santino, got to clean up your own room first. I think it's mostly for optics. Right now, there's going to be a lot of optics. Hey, D, thanks for joining.
D.
Corruption has been going on much too long while we're left counting change. The bottom, at the bottom of my purse. Exactly, D. We've all been counting change. As a matter of fact, we were just having that conversation here not too long ago about how the illegals have gotten it so easy. And if we only gave half of that shit to the homeless programs in this nation, oh my God, we probably wouldn't have a homeless problem after all. I mean, they get a free house, or if nothing else, they get their house, for a reduced price or something like that. I mean, they get all the real benefits of the purse of the American people, even though they're not Americans and they don't care about America. They just care about what America can do for them. The exact opposite of what JFK was talking to us about. Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. And we've been doing that. And turns out what we can do for our country is pay for the good life for all of our ambassadors from the South. Chachi says, Kim Clement prophesied that God will shake the Dems, but will also shake the Republicans as well.
Yes, he did.
I look forward to that moment. That will be some real winning. And I think that was kind of a, what do they call that in TV? Foreshadowing.
Yes, very much.
I think we got some foreshadowing there about how it's going to be all over the place and that nobody's really going to be safe.
Yes.
Nor should they ever have been.
And your friend from high school is over on Facebook watching. Marlo.
Hey,
Shout
Marlo.
out to Marlo.
Shout out, Marlo. What's going on?
So,
Thanks for joining.
You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
I'm going to have to blow it up because my eyeballs ain't working like they used to. Well, first, Brother Bill says, Getz resigned immediately when DJT nominated him. Word is, Matt is already at work as the AG. Oh, I know he's getting everything set up. So that way, once they say the, okay, here's the keys, he's just like, okay, well, y'all get to work too. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. Yeah. All right. So headline, Justin Haskin reveals how the new Russian collusion hoax is in motion. Wait, there's a new one?
Yes.
Because the first one worked so well.
I know. You ready?
Bring on the Russians.
Let's go.
Going back at least to early 2024, we've seen the playbook start to be rolled out. There were all these war games that were being hosted. There were meetings and events all centered around this idea of another Russian collusion, Russian involvement in the election, setting the stage for the same old tired thing we've heard over and over and over again. Except this time, the difference was there was a lot of focus on deep fakes and emerging technologies and how these things might be used by Russia in the election.
Which would you say they really weren't?
Well, no, actually, I would disagree. I think that they
deep
did.
Fakes?
Yes. There's actually quite a few stories of deepfakes being used by Russia, videos being put out. There were all kinds of fake news stories and things like that. They dumped into the media, but deepfakes too, video, audio, everything. It's just that it didn't matter. And the reason it didn't matter was because Trump won in a landslide, by modern standards, he won in a landslide. And so it didn't ultimately matter. But what I noticed leading up to the election was about 5 days before the election, we started seeing a flood of stories in the news. Didn't get a lot of attention because people weren't fixated on it. A flood of stories in the news. Some of it piggybacking on government reports, things from the State Department, all of this saying, Russia is interfering in the election. Yeah. And we saw more and more stories that came out. And the closer we got to the election, we saw this increase even more. And then right after the election, day after the election, we saw it happen.
And we're going to see it now. Tulsi Gabbard was just announced as head of DNI, the National Intelligence Director. And it's starting to come up again. She's a Russian spy.
Yes.
That came from Hillary Clinton.
Yes. Without a doubt. Some of the story, New York Times, how Russia openly escalated its election interference efforts. That's November 7th. LA Times, foreign interference is now the norm, and it could fuel more violence under Trump. That's on election day. Are we just ignoring how Russia openly helped Trump on election night? That's from the New Republic. NPR, FBI reports new hoax videos, deepfake videos, after warning that Russia is trying to undermine the election. That's the day before the election. Wired, Russia is going all out on election day interference. That's the day before the election. And then there's been more and more stories, Rachel Maddow, people like this, spreading all these stories about how Trump has all these secret connections to Russia, people who are in his
but again,
campaign.
You have all of this stuff.
Why would anyone listen to it?
Why would anyone listen to it coming from the mainstream media?
So I think there's two different things happening. There's what's the plan going to be and is it going to work? Now, right now, I believe the Russian collusion hoax 2.0 is the plan. One of several possible plans. I think it is the plan. I don't think that you coordinate all of these kinds of news stories for the week leading up to the election and after, unless that's the plan. State Department coming out and saying similar things, FBI issuing warnings about it. I mean, they're all doing what we would call the propaganda industrial complex, the stuff you should watch for. They're all doing it.
Thoughts?
So, Russia. It got some legs before, and it worked for a very long time. And there's people who are still parroting those points, even though absolutely everything about the Russia hoax collusion has been debunked. Even the fact checkers have backed off of the whole Russia collusion crap. And so the thing is when you have a successful campaign, if it's not broke, then don't try to fix it. And so since their system is broke and that sort of worked last time, they're going to do absolutely everything to create as many problems as they can. Here's the thing is they know that their days are numbered and that time is getting short. And with their shortened time that they have to continue to collude and do the conspiracies that they've been actually doing against the American people, they're going to do whatever they can, and that's just to save their ass. They are that cornered animal now. and they did it to themselves, and they don't like it. And so they have to do something. And if something that worked before, i.e. the Russia collusion shit, if that worked before, then they're going to do it again, because that's all they know. And no matter how weak it may be, they're like, throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. And then they're setting it up on the back end. And it could be even a longer game that they're playing, because they know they're going to have so many people go to jail after this. So they're setting it up for the resistance that they're going to be doing. You know, they're going to play the resistance card, you know, like the whole Palestinian kind of thing. You know, it's like, oh, woe is us, you know, oh, look, you know, look at how terrible everything is. We told you, and look at how they're treating us, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, feel sorry for me. And that's all they're going to have. But they're going to do it to the very end, because, I mean, what else do they have? I mean, even if I had an idea, I wouldn't say it on here because I wouldn't want to give it to them.
Right?
Yeah, suck it. You know, good luck.
Good luck.
Try dog paddling. Yeah, learn to swim.
Learn to swim. You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Yes. Speaker Mike Johnson makes the case for why Matt Gaetz should be Attorney General.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'll say about the nominees that the president has put forward, is that they are persons who will shake up the status quo. And I think what the American people have believe, and what they've delivered with the mandate in this election, is a demand that we shake up the status quo. It's not working for the American people. So use the term in the opening about how these are disruptors. They are. I think that's by design. Any president has the right to name their own cabinet, to nominate persons that they think will fulfill their agenda. And the people that are on this list will do that. They will go into the agencies that they're being asked to lead, and they will reform them. These agencies need reform. And I think the vast majority of the American people understand that. You can't have status quo appointments in a moment like this. I'm really excited about the day. The reason that Matt Gaetz is such an exciting pick to so many people is because he will go in and reform the Department of Justice. It desperately needs it. Look, he and I sat on the Judiciary Committee together for almost 7 years before I became Speaker of the House. And we heard the evidence. We saw the evidence of lawfare. We saw how the Department of Justice had been used for political purposes, how they targeted Catholics in some examples, and parents at school boards, and pro-life Americans. This is not what our system of justice was built to do, and Matt Gaetz will go in there and shake it up. And I think most of the American people understand that's an important function.
Thoughts?
So he's obviously supporting. So, and there's been something about Speaker Johnson that just hasn't made a whole lot of sense in terms of like the words that he was saying versus the actions that he was taking. Is that going to change now? Was he kind of a plant in terms of, I mean, he kind of came up out of nowhere. I mean, never mind the fact that he looks like, what is it, Edward Snowden or something like that. But
he does.
That's another conspiracy theory altogether.
That's
but
a whole new rabbit
yeah,
hole.
that's a whole new rabbit hole. Go down that one if you wish. But regardless, here's the thing: is what we're about to see is going to be something altogether very different.
Huh?
And what I have a feeling is that JFK actually pointed out what is probably going to end up happening now that this opportunity is available. Like Kennedy said, he's going to smash the CIA into 1,000 pieces. I think that Trump is going to do that to not just CIA, but he's also going to do it to FBI and all these other alphabet soup agencies. And how can that work? How can that work in a manner that's going to not that will disrupt the collusion done by those who are within the system and are deeply entrenched, but at the same time still make sure that the needs of the our national security needs are still taken care of? And I think the best way to do that is to compartmentalize even more than they've been compartmentalizing. And I think that the compartmentalization and disallowing so many people to have the ability to see the whole picture will play a big part. And I think that can, in terms of reducing the amount of corruption that can be had, I think that if you were to break up the FBI into their different office functions and split those office functions up, have your field operations in a different agency, and each one of them could be their own, not necessarily agency, but basically they're their own silo, and they're all right next to each other. I think that something like that is probably what we're going to see, but we're not going to see that right away. And they're certainly not going to tell us what their plans are because, well, we're not General Milley. And so therefore we don't tell everybody, the entire world, what the plans are.
Right.
But that's something that would make the most amount of sense to me, is to actually increase the amount of government agencies by reducing each one of their potential power in the future. Chachi says, wasn't Johnson's assignment to House Speaker mentioned in the Q drops? Win-win, good win. I don't know. See, there were only two Q drops today, and there wasn't anything about that. Let me check out that real quick. Do a quick search. Senator Johnson. Let's see what happens. Think POTUS. You know what? How about if I share this so that way I'm not just reading and y'all just have to kind of imagine what the Q drops look like. All right. There's 10 posts with the name Johnson. Time for a change. Let's see what happens. Of course, all of these are pretty old. Meanwhile, Democrats and a letter sent to Johnson on Tuesday. Senator Kamala Harris of California renewed her calls for another COVID-19 hearing. Blah, blah.
Quit saying that word.
Oh, whatever. Sick of that. I don't know. I have to do some research on that because I'm not going to sit here and bore all y'all with all that stuff. But thank you for your patience.
Yes. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right.
God's plan of one. It's to have one God, one man, one woman, one marriage, one sex partner, one flesh, one lifetime, one picture. That's what he wants. He wants your life, your relationship, your sex life to reflect as a picture what heaven looks like on earth. But until you get God's principle of one, you buy into what culture says about it. That's what happened to me. Me and Natalie were together. We hadn't had sex for 4 or 5 years. We had dibbled and dabbled and touched stuff and rubbed stuff and did all that other stuff. I'm just going to be transparent with you right now because ain't no sense in faking at this current moment. And we were dibbling and dabbling and dry humping and touching stuff and doing all this other stuff. And then culture came in. And culture came in to say, bro, how you going to settle down with one person and you ain't never seen what's out there? God had given me a promise at 15, 16 years old that was untouched, undefiled, was all mine. And I traded in a treasure for a try. And I wonder how many people out here are trading in the treasure that God's giving to try things that may or may not fulfill.
Thoughts?
All right. The partners. I know that there's a lot of people here who struggle with, some of us even trying to find a partner. And I understand that that can be a real struggle and that can be a real pain. And I know that it can hurt. And I know that there's those that have that relationship and maybe feel like they desire a little bit more. But the thing is the relationship, it really is designed to be one man, one woman. And I know the Bible, and we've talked about it here before, the Bible does allow polygamy, like that's a thing, but it's frowned upon, right? And so what is it that people are really seeking? And a lot of the times what I think people are seeking is to fill a God-sized hole in their heart with something that really isn't there. They're not seeing the blessings and the things that they actually have.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike, thanks for joining. And so it's appreciating the things that you do have and working with what you do have is going to, in the end, help you get that fulfillment that you seek and that you desire. And it may not look the way you want. It rarely ever does, right? If you want to tell God a joke, tell him your plans and he'll find that absolutely hilarious. And so it's about opening ourselves up to the possibility of whatever God throws at us while we're paying attention to, red flags and the usual things that we should be paying attention to. But that's part of the exercise. And that exercise is what draws us closer to get that, to to get that, I guess, that one that you can cleave in unto, and they can cleave unto you as well, and you become one. And it's been a process for Kay and I, and I'm not gonna lie about that. I mean, we've both had our moments, right? But the thing is as time has gone on, we felt like we were pulling away from each other. We felt like we've been drawing closer to each other. But when we take a step back and we take a look at the blessing that we do have with each other, that is that we have been growing closer together over the long haul. We've had to break some old parts of ourselves and rebuild some new ones. But it truly is a blessing from God, even though it doesn't always feel like that. We gotta truly hold on to the blessings that we do have. Little Unker says, I stayed single for 9 years and had one date in that time. I prayed, and several years later, I met Carol. Amazing. That's awesome.
Mike
It happens.
says, yeah, but my wife won't go for it. And
Yeah,
I said to Mike, but Mike, would you really want more than one wife?
I mean, come on.
Just throwing that out there.
I don't know how Solomon did it. Yeah. Yeah.
We can be a handful. Just say it. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
We got Bobby. Let's listen.
Let me ask you this about Big Pharma, and this is about vaccines. You say that the government regulators have been bought off by Big Pharma. I think that's what you're saying when you say that this entanglement has occurred. You said agency employees are actually getting royalties, getting payments on vaccines and drugs that they approve. Is that true?
Yes, there's a couple things happening. For example, the Moderna vaccine. NIH owns half of that vaccine, 50%. So the billions of dollars that vaccine makes, half of that goes to NIH, the agency, but there's also individuals, at least 4, and maybe 6 individuals who work for NIH who are high-level deputies under Anthony Fauci, who get to collect $150,000 a year forever, not just for their lives, but their children. As long as that mRNA technology is on the market, they're going to be making money from it.
Okay.
And that is a conflict.
Hang on a minute now, because I don't want to blow by this.
It's a crime.
Fast. So the National Institute of Health is getting a kickback, a bribe, a royalty, a share, whatever you want to call it. Is this not a clear conflict of interest?
Yes.
That's what you're pointing out, right?
Yeah, it is. People are shocked.
Why are you the only one talking about this?
If you talk about this kind of thing, you get censored on YouTube. You will not be allowed on the mainstream media to talk about these issues. It used to be that you could, and nowadays you cannot. With FDA, about 50% of FDA's budget comes from regulated industries, so mainly the pharmaceutical industries. You have agency capture on steroids. The principal objective of FDA today is to serve the mercantile interests of pharmaceutical companies. And that's why you see FDA not only approving all of these drugs that shouldn't be approved, but they also are, out to destroy things that are actually shown to be good for you, that do not make profits for the pharmaceutical companies.
Thoughts?
So, I think it's criminal, personally. I don't think that you should have any approval authority whatsoever and be able to receive some kind of a kickback. It's a kickback. It's pure corruption through and through. And I pray that all of their fraudulent gains are taken from them and that they have to go get a real job, maybe digging ditches or something like that. I pray that works for them, because I don't think that they should be able to do anything else other than manual labor for the rest of their life. It really pisses me off. And of course, the whole pharmaceutical industry in general pisses me off, because it's not designed to help anybody get better or to heal anybody. And I think that's why everybody's so excited about RFK Jr. becoming, the Mahazar. Anyway, the pharmaceutical industry has been corrupt for so long. I know that if Tylenol was to actually go through the process now, it probably would never get approved because it is so dangerous. So many people die of liver failure every year because of that medication. And it's kind of sad that's the way things work. Now, should people be able to take Tylenol? Yeah. I mean, it's an over-the-counter drug and it's not that terrible, but that should also show us how messed up the entire system is, that Tylenol wouldn't even make it. Just don't drink alcohol when you're taking Tylenol. It's really that simple.
It can shut your liver down.
And there's nothing the doctors can do about it.
No.
Yeah, if you're drinking alcohol and taking Motrin within close proximity to each other. Yeah, very, very dangerous, very, very bad. But like, what is it? Aspirin is based off of the willow bark or something like that.
Yes.
And so it's like these medications could probably be made locally by people, but then you have to worry about, are they mixing it properly? That, like, there's a lot of like real concerns that we have in the future to try to make things as natural and as close to, original as we possibly can. But at the same time, and we look around the way our education system has been designed to make absolute idiots, it's going to be a while before we can find the people that are going to be trustworthy to do that. We know that the pharmacists have made tons and tons of money giving out that gene therapy jab. And I think that they should be personally liable for that as well, because really in the end, people look up to them. How is that any different than somebody like Weinstein taking advantage of his position of power so that way he can get his rocks off? How is that any different than a pharmacist in their position of power so that way they can make a couple bucks, whether or not what they're peddling is even something that should be, injected into the human body?
Exactly.
These people need to be liable for the decisions that they make. Now, we can't throw every freaking pharmacist in jail. That's not going to work.
Right.
But we do need to really reconsider what is a requirement and what is it that we're really looking for, and how are we going to accept medicines, and does the government even have a right to tell us whether or not something is safe, since they proved that they're untrustworthy? These are very serious questions that they're going to have to answer. Esto says, go back to the apothecary and herbalist. I agree with you 100%. That's what I want to see. Training and certification. Back to compounding too.
Yes.
I agree, Esto. I personally feel that that's the way to go. I just don't know if, but then again, like the kids that I'm going, the couple of kids that are in HVAC with me right now, they're smart. They just, don't know anything that means anything. They just know
they just don't have common sense.
Well,
they're
no,
smart.
They're very smart. They've just been told so much shit that just ain't so.
Yeah.
And so it's difficult for them to figure it out. It's going to take a little while to recover from the war on education that has been waged against the American children.
Absolutely. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please?
Sean Baker, MD, praises RFK Jr. pick, blasts doctors who outsourced their brains to Big Pharma.
You ready?
Yes.
All right, guys. So breaking news, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was just named as the head of the HHS, Department of Health and Human Services. Now, that will give him oversight over things like the FDA, the CDC, the healthcare system in general. He may even have a role into our food system. And there are a number of physicians that are kind of bemoaning that fact. They're worried that he's going to take away vaccines, or he's going to have some impact on, how drugs are approved and so on and so forth. And, the real answer is, for all those guys moaning about that, is you brought it upon yourself. This election, in part, was due to that very issue. A lot of people voted for who they did for the very reason that they thought that RFK might have some influence over the healthcare system. And I think the behavior of the healthcare system, the doctors within it, academic medicine over the last few years, quite honestly, has been appalling. The complete shutting down, the censorship of dissenting voices. That's not how science is supposed to be done. That's not how medicine is supposed to be practiced. The mocking and the ridicule of people that thought outside the box or had a different opinion than yours did. You people that have literally outsource your brains and your thinking to the pharmaceutical industry so you can follow their algorithms, so you can practice quote unquote evidence-based medicine. When we know much of that evidence is corrupted. We've had how many journal editors retire and say they can't believe the corruption that is within the pharmaceutical industry, within the research community, which builds some of that quote unquote science. You know, the fact that, you know, you minimize patients that, you know, have been injured by pharmaceutical agents, dismissing that as, you know, not relevant, things like that. I mean, this is what you've reaped this, and now you've sown the consequences. And I hope Kennedy gets in there and throws most of the clowns out of the FDA and the CDC and the other agencies that allowed this, that profited from this. You know, it's sickening to see so much money and so much profit being made on the backs of poor, you know, average Americans that are just trying to live their lives. Instead, they're contending with chronic disease. We don't focus on root cause medicine. All we do is manage disease, and that is just giving you pills to somewhat lessen your symptoms, you know, at an enormous cost. I mean, we spend an inordinate amount of money on healthcare, and our results, quite honestly, are shockingly bad for the amount of money that we are paying into the system. And so, you know, as I said, anything I can do, you know, our company Rivero, you know, we are already practicing root cause medicine. And so hopefully our company and others will continue to show and lead the way on how to change this, because I think this is something that our country sorely needs. It's been overdue by decades now. Our country is, you know, for a country of tremendous resource, and I've said this over and over again, we are one of the wealthiest, resource-rich nations on the entire planet. And what do we have to show for it? We have a sick, fat, depressed populace. We can't tolerate that anymore. So good for you, RFK. Good for you, Donald Trump, for appointing him. And, you know, for you physicians that don't like it, too bad. You're going to have to suck it up and get better. Get better at being a doctor. Don't just be a damn pill pusher, right? Learn how to listen to your patients, learn how to inspire them, learn how to support them. Yeah, it takes more time. Yeah, it's gonna be disruptive, but it's something you should have done all along. You know, you've allowed yourself to be captured. You physicians have allowed this system to become what it is because of your cowardice, because of your, you know, desire to take the easy way. And I mean that, knowing that most of you are good people, but at some point, good people have to step up or evil will triumph. All right, guys, take care.
Thoughts?
All right. I think the end of what he was saying, he called it cowardice. He used some pretty harsh words, and I think he should have. But at the same time, what Bill pointed out, and I was going to get to this, Rockefeller medicine is the evil at the center, the core of this global bastardization of our republic and the medicine, I'm assuming. And really, that is the problem. And so we can't be too terribly mad at the doctors. They are smart, very, very smart people, very talented people, and requires a lot of dedication, which is important to become a doctor. But at the same time, they were taught the wrong way. And it was before their generation. It was before our generation. It was before our grandparents' generation, really. When that happened, it happened in the early 1930s. You know, my grandparents would have been little kids. Right? Or if nothing else, they would have been, you know, getting ready to fight World War II.
Yes.
And so while all of these things were going on in the world, you know, and our young men were going out there to fight, Rockefeller medicine was able to work its way in and change the books and change everything. And once the books change, really, what is left behind? Because they gutted the very foundation of what medicine was. So it's going to take a lot. And I expect our doctors, as brilliant and as smart as they like to think they are, I would like to see them prove that and go forward and actually make medicine again, and to make the health care more about the care of people's health as opposed to the care of the pocketbooks and the golf tea times and the vacays and all the little things trying to be a big shot. See, Doc Hollywood was a great movie and it made some real valid points. But the problem is the doctors saw Doc Hollywood and they wanted to be Doc Hollywood before he learned lessons about what medicine's really supposed to be about. I look forward to our doctors actually finding their heart again, so that way people can get healed without concern as to how bankrupt they're going to be for the rest of their lives while they go live on the high hog because they've been pretending like they're doing medicine.
Right.
Bill says, what's the first step to controlling the masses? Take away their health, both physically and mentally.
Yep.
Amen. Boy, that's the truth. And that's what they did.
Right. Oh, I like that, Esto. Mega, make everything great again.
There it is. Beautiful. I love that. I love that. That's great, Esto.
You ready?
Yeah.
Can you please read that?
There it goes. The single best Trump dance video on the internet right now.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All the things that make me mad about those other guys and all the things they do wrong, the one thing that I will not forgive them for is their try to steal the joy from this country.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Trump's iconic dance moves are sweeping the internet and winning him a lot of fans across the globe. Trump's dance moves were on show throughout and even after his election campaign. And it seems like everyone wants to hop on the bandwagon.
Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man, cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be unhappy. Young man, there's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're short on your dough, you can stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for your men to enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. You can get yourself clean. You can have a good meal.
Thoughts?
Well, certainly not making dancing great again, but sure making it so that we can enjoy dancing again.
Yes.
That's fun. That's so fun. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular, but it certainly communicates a message, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's
that
so fun.
more and more people are on the MAGA side than that what they want.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The appearance of what they have is significantly greater than the support that they actually have.
Exactly.
But the thing is that the momentum is with those who care about traditional American values and what actually made this nation what it became and what it can be. And it's the momentum is the best part because you can feel that energy. You can feel that energy that the nation is coming back. And the only thing that I could possibly compare it to is what it felt like when everybody was waiting for Reagan to take over from Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly, Carol. He changed a whole dance.
He did change a whole dance.
It's catchy.
It is catchy. It's easy.
Yeah.
Even I can do it.
I know. You ready?
Yes.
Can you read that, please?
As soon as it comes up, there we go. Mike Davis, the biggest truth about Crossfire Hurricane, the biggest scandal in American history. That's going to be a tough one to beat.
Ready?
Mm-hmm. It is contagious.
Crossfire Hurricane was that was a federal investigation that started with Hillary Clinton with her illegal home server unsecured as the Secretary of State. Not only did it have our nation's most classified secrets, it also had evidence of the Clinton Foundation's illegal pay-for-play foreign bribery schemes, where the Clinton Foundation was taking tens of billions of dollars from foreign governments, foreign entities, and maybe, just maybe, there was quid pro quo corruption when she was the Secretary of State. She was doing favors in return for these donations. She got caught with her illegal home server. She took hammers to the devices. She bleach bit it. She destroyed the evidence, obstruction of justice, right? Here's the problem. That server was almost certainly hacked by our adversaries, including Russia. And what they were worried about with the Clinton campaign, with the Obama White House, with Joe Biden, was that this server would get leaked before the 2016 election by the Russians. And so what did they do? They made up the Steele dossier at Perkins Coie, a national law firm. They used that Steele dossier, just made up corrupt evidence. They gave it to the intel agencies, the Justice Department. They used that to get illegal spy warrants from the FISA courts on President Trump, on his campaign. They continued to spy on him as the president of the United States. They hobbled his presidency. And they did this crossfire hurricane for the purpose of this. If this evidence came out before the 2016 election, Hillary Clinton can say, you can't trust it. This is a campaign dirty trick by the Trump campaign colluding with the Russians. And you say, oh, Mike, that sounds crazy. How can you be such a conspiracy theorist? Well, they did the same thing in 2020 with Hunter Biden's laptop of the Biden family corruption. You had the CIA working with 51 former intel officials to say it had all the hallmarks of a Russian disinformation campaign. They got the New York Post canceled from the internet. They got it deplatformed. America's continuous oldest newspaper got canceled from social media. The link got taken off the internet, and they did the same thing in 2020. Remember, Trump declassified Crossfire Hurricane. It took 4 years. It was the day before he left office. Rick Grenell finally got the job done after the FBI and the intel agencies, Justice Department fought him tooth and nail. They declassified Crossfire Hurricane the day before Trump left office. The FBI, the intel officials ran to White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and said, you cannot publicly release this. It has sources and methods. You're going to violate the Privacy Act. This is a crime. So Mark Meadows, the day before they left, the day they left office, January 20th, 2021, sent a memo saying, okay, do your Privacy Act review and publicly release these documents. Well, guess what? They didn't do the Privacy Act review. They didn't publicly release these records. Instead, they did the Mar-a-Lago raid to go get back these Crossfire Hurricane records. And that led to Jack Smith's indictment with Judge Cannon. He didn't like the judge that he drew, so he brought another unprecedented indictment in D.C. against Trump. Unprecedented for the Justice Department to bring two separate indictments against the same defendant at the same time in two different venues. That's what Jack Smith did. They had these other Democrat prosecutors working with the Biden White House, like Fani Willis and Nathan Wade, billing his time to collude with the Biden White House 16 hours, $250 an hour for two meetings. Before they brought their indictment in Georgia, you had Matthew Colangelo deploy from the Biden-Harris Justice Department, the number 3 office, to Alvin Bragg's office, this Soros-funded DA, to bring the first indictment ever. They brought 4 indictments. This is clearly coordinated in collusion with the Biden White House. It's clear. Biden waived Trump's claim of executive privilege through his deputy White House counsel, Jonathan Sue, that led to Jack Smith's 2 indictments. Nathan Wade billing his time, Matthew Colangelo going from the Biden DOJ. Biden's hands are on all 4 of these indictments. There has to be a criminal probe of this, and it comes back to Crossfire Hurricane. Obama, Biden, Hillary, Comey, Jay Bratt, who's working for Jack Smith right now. All of these are deep state bad actors who were involved with Crossfire. Andrew Weissman, who are involved with Crossfire Hurricane, the biggest scandal in American history, and its cover-up. They spied on a presidential candidate. They spied on the president of the United States. They lied to the FISA court. This is the most explosive story in American history. It's going to come out when President Trump's back in office. That's why they tried to bankrupt him. That's why they tried to throw him in prison for life with 4 bogus indictments. That's why they tried to take him off the ballot unconstitutionally. That's why they tried to underfund his Secret Service protection and almost took off his head.
And see, Mike, this is why I want you to be Attorney General of the United States. I know you say you want to be a private citizen, but this is why. I'm being serious. I'm paying you a sincere compliment right now. I'm not just joking around about it. That's the kind of understanding of the lawfare that has been targeting President Trump. And President Trump, by the way, is representative of us. This is the kind of understanding we need if we're actually going to untangle this and reform these institutions and not just have a tit for tat. So,
thoughts?
So, man, there's so much going on here with the DOJ and Crossfire Hurricane and Hillary's server, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to be a long time before all of this stuff actually plays out. It's going to be difficult. And like he had mentioned, and I think that this was a lot of the stuff that the Q people have been talking about for a long time, and that is that the Russians had all of that data. As a matter of fact, that's what the warning was to everybody. She's doing all of this secret shit on a private server. But we understand that that private server was done specifically to go around all of the official channels, so that way they could have unofficial communications on an official kind of capacity. But they played their lawyer games, and those lawyer games are going to really come back and haunt them in the end. I know that a lot of people believe that Hillary's servers were probably on a chip inside of that soccer ball that that Putin handed over to Trump, which I could see that being a possibility. I know that all of this is going to end up getting exposed because it's going to consolidate and solidify processes and procedures that the government is able to do to prevent things like this in the future. All of this does have to come out. The things that they want to get taken care of, I guess, i.e. laws about private servers and whatnot. The things that they need to get taken care of and laws made about, those are the things we're going to hear about. Hillary Clinton's name is going to be mud for eternity. The Clintons in general. So this corruption, we know that it's all a bunch of BS. It's just a matter of how it's going to be brought out. It's going to be piecemeal, and we're going to, this is more of that predictive programming that's been used to let people know the things that they're going to be seeing, so that way they're not surprised. All of this, they're going over so many things right now, and they're going to continue to, but there's going to be little pieces of disclosure as we move forward, and those little pieces of disclosure are all going to end up leading to however this plays out. You know, I have a feeling that Biden is going to not be with us much longer after his presidency is concluded, kind of a la Woodrow Wilson, because his wife was kind of running the show for the longest time there before Woodrow Wilson was done. So I have a feeling that they're going to take a play out of that book in terms of like what's actually going on. But all of these things still have to happen, and yeah, we'll see. Jan says that's part of what Trump says, that they have it all. Yes, ma'am, 100%. I agree. This is all part of, they have it all. They've been telling everybody, and that's been on Q posts. I think there was actually one on Friday last week, Thursday or Friday, and it was, we have it all. And truly, it's just letting them play their games, so that way it's easier to take them down using the very tactics that they themselves used. They can't complain about the tactics that are used if they're the very tactics that they used to try to give the appearance of some kind of corruption. But it will certainly work taking out actual corruption. Chachi says, was Fannie Soros backed?
I believe so.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe, I believe she was one of the Soros attorney generals, and they've been really taking a beating too.
Are you ready? Let's go.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm excited to bring you my Giza Dream bed sheets for the best offer ever. We're all experiencing unprecedented rising prices, but I was able to secure a limited amount of Giza cotton for a great price, and I'm going to pass those savings directly on to you. Get my Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98 with your promo code. They're the most luxurious sheets ever, made with the world's finest cotton, grown only in a region between the Sahara Desert, Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River, where the weather conditions are perfect for growing cotton. My sheets are ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. I guarantee they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 50% on my Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.98. Quantities are extremely limited at these amazing prices, so please order now.
Thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's the Giza sheets. It's and the towels and everything MyPillow.
But the sheets.
The sheets are epic. Yeah, I truly appreciate the sheets. We've got.
You're not saying it.
What? Oh, what did I Giza sheet about the Giza sheets?
There you go.
I do Giza sheet about the Giza sheets. Those things are amazing. See, Jenny loves the towels.
Mhm.
They are amazing. Jenny, did you notice that they actually get softer after a couple of washes?
They really do.
We
And
noticed
they're-
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're amazing.
Little Unker says we had the My Pillow and slippers. Yeah, got the pillow, got the towels, got the sheets. Totally sold on everything My Pillow. I will say I've been trying out a different pillow. It's all right. It's I don't know. I still kind of like my Pillow 2.0. The My Pillow 1.0 was like a ridiculously high pillow. You know, it was just kind of sleeping all weird. But this new 2.0 pillow really had some good luck with it. Probably going to switch back to that. I've been trying to give this other one an honest try. I don't know. I got a fat head and I am the destroyer of pillows. It just, I don't know, head's real heavy or something shit. I don't know. But anyways, My Pillow, they work really good. Truly happy with them. Esto says, I love my sheets and my flannel sheets. Also the coverlet. What do we have? What's that heavy ass thing? It's too hot sometimes.
Duvet.
The duvet.
Oh.
I mean, we're in the desert, so it probably wasn't the brightest purchase, but
Keeps me warm.
oh yeah, it keeps you warm.
Carol. Hint, hint.
Yeah. Carol says, I need towels.
No, little Unker said
Oh, little
that.
Unker says I need towels. Christmas is coming.
Yep. See, hint, hint, Carol. Hint, hint. Yes, they really do absorb and the moisture, and they are so soft, and they get softer every time.
So far.
Mhm.
So far. Anyways.
Little Unker said I had to take some of the stuffing out.
Really?
Yeah.
1.0 are lumpy pillows.
Yeah, but the 2.0,
Yeah.
they completely changed.
Yeah, they're and they soften them. They're not cubes anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I don't know, lozenges.
See, there you go. Jarhead, you say?
Jarhead. Yes, probably. Yeah, jarhead. Jenny says, and when you're done drying off, the towels don't feel soaked. Hey, I know.
I know.
There's something weird voodoo that's in those things. I have no idea. Mike says, I cut my pillow open and took some stuffing out. It's perfect now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always that.
Well,
A little
if you
bit of-
get the towels and the slipper, remember promo code DTOO.
mypillow.com/DTOO. Thank you. Helps us out, helps them out. And yeah, we do get a little bit of something from them when people do make a purchase. But even if we didn't make a penny, I'd still talk about how great those products are.
Yes.
And the fact that, you know, Mike Lindell is a solid American who put his name on the line to make sure that people knew. So that's worth supporting. Jan says, someone said to wash and dry first before using the pillow, it will mellow out.
Oh,
See?
okay.
I'm not listening.
Listen.
Why aren't you listening, Carol?
She's not listening.
All right.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Yes, it is magic. Jenny. Let's go.
When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, then he will sit on his glorious throne. Before him will be gathered nations, and he will separate people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will place the sheep on the right, the goats on the left. Then the king will say to those on his right, come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom that has been prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer him, saying, Lord, when did we do these things for you? Then the king will answer, truly, I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers, you did it to me.
Thoughts?
We need to make sure that we're doing our Christian duty and that we need to take care of people. It's been a challenge. I'm going to give that to everybody right now because so many of us have just been trying to keep our heads above water as we've gone through the past 4 years of this Obamanomics again. It has truly made things difficult and done so intentionally. I can't think about how the country could have gone so far backwards without some kind of direct effort to make things suck for your average everyday American. But the thing is we don't always have to give money. We can just give our time. We can give of ourselves. But really what we need to give of more than anything else is our heart. We got to give our heart to everybody. and they may need a drink or they may need some clothes, and we may have extra. Remember, we're always more wealthy than we really think that we actually are. And so we need to recognize the homeless problem that we have, this epidemic that I is so aggravating to me, to live in a town that's built off of people making money. The whole town is based off of money, and yet there's homeless people. There's just extreme wealth right next to extreme poverty, like something that I would expect to see in India or like in Bangladesh, right? But I'm seeing it right here, and I know that it's happening in every city. It's not just Las Vegas; it's every major city in America, and
now
even
some and not
and some not so
so major.
yeah, and some not so major cities, the homeless epidemic is a real problem. And so that means that there's plenty of opportunities for us to be Christian. And we understand that when we see homeless people, sometimes we make those judgments, but we need to not judge. We need to make sure that everybody has this chance, especially as we're getting so close to the finish line. We got to make sure that we use our heart, and we need to understand that whatever we give, we are going to receive so many times over. And that's not why we're doing it. Just knowing that we will be taken care of is the thing that should make us be and feel free to be the charitable Christians we know that we can be. So make sure that you're still listening to your heart, and that you're going out of your way to take care of those who need the taking care of.
Absolutely.
Jenny says, I love when he says, truly, I tell you.
Yes.
I know. Yeah, I know. I love that too.
Ever since watching The Chosen, every time we read the Bible now, I just picture all of them.
Yeah,
and
I know.
it really does make the Bible come alive for me. You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Language warning. The older millennial puts rabid TDS sufferer Andrew Wortman in his place.
You ready?
Yes. He made Liberty Daily, huh?
So I already made a video about Andrew today, but X in its infinite wisdom decided to show me another stupid fucking thing he said. So he gets a double dose today. See, Andrew said 74.5 million of you are so fucking stupid, and we will never forget or forgive you for it. What in the ever-loving fuck were you thinking? That's a bold opening. Let's see what he had to say in the pictures. And let's shit on those pictures one by one. So he says an anti-vaxxer in charge of health. RFK is not an anti-vaxxer. All RFK did was question the need and the efficacy of the COVID vaccine. He never said you shouldn't be able to get it. He simply questioned the requirement that you get it. And he also questioned why there's a need for children to have 38 vaccines before they turn 6. He didn't question whether or not people should have access to those vaccines. He simply questioned the requirement that they get them. But in their liberal cult fucking mind, if you question what the government tells you to do, you're an anti-vaxxer. So on point 1, Andrew, you're a fucking idiot. On picture number 2, he says a Putin sympathizer in charge of spies. So let's go ahead and look at your claim that she's a Putin sympathizer. So most of the left's claim about that is based in the fact that Tulsi Gabbard is an anti-interventionist, meaning she's in favor of America minding its own fucking business. I think after the last 25 years, most Americans can identify with that, but they're also pointing to a few key statements she made. The first statement being that we need to put geopolitics aside and accept that Ukraine will remain a neutral country, not part of NATO. That's not a controversial statement. That's not a pro-Russia statement. That's the reality of Ukraine because they're too corrupt to get into NATO. Like, that's the official position of NATO. So if you think Tulsi Gabbard making that statement makes her pro-Russia, then you would also have to say that NATO is pro-Russia. So that doesn't make sense. But the biggest statement is when she talked about the U.S. biolabs in Ukraine. And the media ran with it, saying she talked about Ukraine developing bioweapons. She later clarified her statement, saying that biolabs do not mean bioweapons, that there are plenty of biolabs throughout the world who aren't weaponizing viruses. And the only reason the American people ever misread that statement was because a former Republican, who is also a complete and total piece of shit liberal, Adam Kinzinger, suggested that when she said biolabs, she meant bioweapons labs. But she didn't, and she didn't say that. So on point 2, Andrew, you're fucking stupid. Now, picture 3 is saying Matt Gaetz is a pedophile as Attorney General. I'm not even going to spend a lot of time on this because Congress already investigated it. They spent more than 13 months looking into allegations that he slept with a 17-year-old when he was 36. And they found zero evidence that he did that. That's why they didn't charge him with it. And that's why he was still in Congress. So there's not even any point in going deeper into that. Now, lastly, you said a rapist felon is president. First of all, Donald Trump was never found guilty of rape. He wasn't even found liable for rape. And if you dispute that, just look at the verdict form where it says, did Donald Trump commit rape? And the jury selected no. And as far as being a felon, he's actually technically not a felon either, because you are not a felon until you're sentenced. And it's very likely that he's never going to be sentenced. So he's not a rapist and he's not a felon. So on point 4, Andrew, you're also fucking stupid.
Thoughts?
Chachi says it's always so elementary when it comes to the left's arguments. That's why they always hide the true story at the very bottom of their articles. They can't ever see the big picture. No, they can't see the big picture, nor do they want anybody to actually see the big picture. That's why they don't like all of us telling the truth out there, and that's why they're trying to silence so many people. Now, obviously, this is the next whack-a-mole that decided to pop their head up, and they're going to make an absolute fool of themselves like they already have. You know, RFK Jr. is not an anti-vaxxer. He's just, you know, trying to look out for your average American. And he asked the really strange questions like, do we know if it actually helps anybody?
Do we really need all this?
Do we really need all of this? Is there less
that
disease?
Evil bastard.
Is there, you know, really that much disease now that we didn't have before that we need all of these things? It doesn't make sense. And then the whole thing about the, what was it? The bio labs in Ukraine, like in China. Yeah. You know, bro, all you can do is actually go off of what she said. I understand what she was probably getting at, and you understand what she was probably getting at, even though you don't believe that there are biolabs out there that were making a whole bunch of biological weapons. See, the thing is biolabs can make bioweapons, and they can also make, you know, like medications and stuff like that. But why do they put them at the border with a nation that they don't like if they were making all the shit that really they, you know, didn't like? If it was so good, why isn't it being made closer to the main centers where you would make medicines and those medicines would be distributed? See, there's just a whole lot about their stories that don't make sense. And I understand that you're too stupid to figure it out, but that's okay. We've been dealing with your kind for so long now. And yeah, you're stupid kind that it just doesn't matter anymore. Quadra stupid.
Right.
Just, I mean, it's, there's going to continue to be some of their trolls. I'm sure this one's getting paid as well, and they'll pop their head up every now and then, but you know, the internet will take care of them.
They will. You ready?
Internet has the ability to take care of all sorts of so many things.
Right.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Can you read that, please?
Adam Shitty Schiff still refuses to admit he lied about the Russia collusion hoax 6 years later.
You ready?
I mean, 6 years.
Obviously.
I mean, it's 6 years later. I mean, I've been over this for a long time, but I mean, I'm ready for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, he is bringing a group of people to disrupt. I mean, that is what Speaker Johnson said. And I'm wondering about how much anybody in Washington is being introspective at all about why there is this kind of opening for disruptors, if not necessarily these individuals. You were censured in the House last year for, in their view, holding positions of power during the Trump presidency as chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. And according to them, quote, abusing this trust by saying there was evidence of collusion between Trump's campaign and Russia. And I wonder if you are feeling at all introspective at all about that was, according to the Mueller report and according to your Republican colleagues, an overstatement. And I wonder if you think in any way you help set the table for these disruptors.
You know, first of all, it wasn't an overstatement. There is evidence of collusion. The
Trump campaign manager was meeting with Russian intelligence and giving them internal polling data, just to give you one example. And the Mueller report sets all this out.
It does say, quote, the investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities, which doesn't mean that he didn't, that there weren't meetings, but they didn't find evidence.
Mueller says that too. He says the fact that we didn't find proof beyond a reasonable doubt doesn't mean there wasn't evidence of conspiracy or coordination. So, but look, that's not what people were voting on. People were voting on, is this guy going to improve the economy? Is he going to address inflation? And we didn't persuade the American people that we had a better answer to that question, that we had a better program, agenda, plan. And more than that, I think we failed to persuade the American people that in the voters' point of view, hey, that party, that candidate understands people like me.
I hope he gets at Gitmo. Fill in the blank.
He's such a character. He's extra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Steph says, oh, all right. Sometimes, but it needs to slow down. What needs to slow down? I missed that.
Life. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so Shifty Schiff, again, cornered animal, has no choice, has to stick to the narrative that they had. Sometimes when you tell those kinds of lies, you have no choice but to stick them out until they find themselves to completion. Sad. But at the same time, they had plenty of opportunities in which to reconsider what they were doing and change their ways. They chose not to do that. They're choosing to continue on doubling down on what's already been proven to be a lie. They're going to try to use weasel words and dog whistles and all these other tactics and tricks that they've always used, but they're going to be just as effective as they have been for the past, 6 years. And funny thing is more and more people are waking up, and he's going to end up finding himself realizing that he's the only one that believes that lie anymore, and everybody else sees through it. And it's just, kind of, Adam, you tried.
And you suck.
Yeah, whatever. Good luck, bro.
I hope you had a roommate named Bubba.
God.
You ready?
Yes.
Can you read that, please?
Perfect examples why the FDA should be gutted.
Let's go.
This is McDonald's French fries. I would like to argue that probably nobody in this room has not had a McDonald's French fries, by the way. Nobody raised their hand during the staff meeting earlier today. In the US, there's 11 ingredients. In the UK, there's 3, and salt is optional. An ingredient called dimethylpolysiloxane is an ingredient preserved with formaldehyde, a neurotoxin, in the US version. This is used as a foaming agent, so they don't have to replace the oil that often, making McDonald's more money here in the United States. But they don't do that across the pond. This is Skittles. Notice the long list of ingredient differences. 10 artificial dyes in the US version and titanium dioxide. This ingredient is banned in Europe because it can cause DNA damage. Artificial dyes are made from petroleum, and products containing these dyes require a warning label in Europe that states it may cause adverse effects on activity and detention in children. And they have been linked to cancer and disruptions in the immune system. This on the screen back here is Gatorade. In the US, they use red 40 and caramel color. In Germany, they don't. They use carrot and sweet potatoes to color their Gatorade. This is Doritos. The US version has 3 different artificial dyes and MSG. The UK version does not. And let's look at cereal. General Mills is definitely playing some tricks on us. They launched a new version of Trix just recently in Australia. It has no dyes. They even advertise that when the US version still does. This is why I became a food activist. My name is Vani Hari, and I only want one thing. I want Americans to be treated the same way as citizens in other countries by our own American companies.
Thoughts?
The food thing. It's getting pressed. Obviously, we know RFK Jr. is going to be cleaning this stuff up, and so this is part of that process, the exposure process that we're going to be seeing through. How many times have we seen something about the colors alone on cereal? But we're hearing more and more of these kinds of things, and I believe that they know all of these bad things. That's why they put them in there, and that's why they chose not to put them in countries outside of the U.S. because their laws are more strict, and they know that those things are bad, which means that it was premeditated, everything that they put in the food here in the United States. And I would say that that premeditation should have some legal consequences for those companies. But then again, I'm sure that they're owned by BlackRock and Vanguard, you know, the East India Trading Company kind of thing. And I believe that when those companies get seized and their assets are taken by the people of the United States, I don't think it's going to take very long for it to get cleaned up. I think that people, how long do y'all think, and I'm curious about this, how long do you think it's going to take for people to start to get more healthy once the food's been cleaned up?
I don't think it'll take that long.
I think that
I think a couple of maybe a year.
dog and cat food, even. Yeah. I know, because we just saw those videos of the dogs passing away. We chose not to share those, but I'm pretty sure all of y'all heard about that because there was actually a euthanasia drug that was found in a popular brand of dog food, and people's pets were dying. Really a shame, and it shows the depth of the evil that we've been dealing with. And I know that it's going to be very different moving forward. It's also going to be very difficult to provide that forgiveness that is asked of us here in the future when all these people were trying to kill us and they stole our livelihood and our lives and our joy and our happiness so that way they could take it all for themselves, the evil pieces of shit. I hope they get everything they deserve. But at the same time, I know that I'm being asked to forgive, and that can be a real challenge at times. But I have a feeling that justice will be served, and that it's the love that we have for how good things are going to be is what we should truly be focusing on, no matter how difficult it may be, when really what we want is justice, because they made all of us miserable, and they don't deserve anything good in their lives because they've already taken all of it, like the prodigal son. And until they come back to God, I don't believe that they should be receiving any kind of benefits, reward, or an easy life, because really, they murdered people. They murdered people with those chemicals that they put in there. Keep in mind, Skittles are one of the more popular items in the bag of meals ready to eat that we give to our military. And they're trying to kill them.
Yeah. Esto says, I knew about this back in the late 90s. 2000 was giving grief for not feeding it to my kids. You know, Michelle, you did the right thing.
You did the right thing.
They can kiss your butt.
Yeah, they can kiss your butt because you know what? Your kids are healthier now.
Exactly.
You know, I understand. And that's one of the things that can make it really difficult to do the parenting thing because there's these, I don't know, liberals out there that let their kids get away with everything, and the kids want to gravitate towards that because they got freedom to do and be themselves.
Yeah.
And it makes it very difficult. And that's it's a real challenge, especially when they're trying to shame you when you know the truth and you're just trying to look out for your kids.
Yeah.
I understand.
Little Lunker, there's no way I could have shared that video. It was disturbing.
Very disturbing.
To say the least.
Yeah, it was a disturbing video.
There are videos that I just have
talking about the video of the animals,
yeah,
that were
just terrible,
seizing to death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Chachi says, Americans are the strongest. They've been poisoning us for a long time, and they still couldn't take us out. After they take away the poisons, we'll be even stronger. We'll all be even stronger.
Yes.
I agree that we will be even stronger. It's going to get, it's going to be interesting. But it'll be nice to see Americans healthy again. And I have some strange feeling that without all of these heavy metals and poisons in our food and our water, because he wants to take the fluoride out of the water, that people will start thinking clearly again.
I agree.
That is what's going to make America great again, is brains will be made great again.
Yes. You ready?
Yes.
Let's listen to Craig.
I love Craig.
What comes into your mind comes out in your life. No matter what you do or what you have or who you know or what you buy or where you live or where you travel, you cannot have a positive life when you have a negative mind. Why? Because your life is always moving in the direction of your strongest thoughts. The question I want you to ask yourself is this: if your life is always moving in the direction of your strongest thoughts, are you excited about the direction your thoughts are taking you?
Thoughts, sir.
I didn't get a chance to finish writing down my notes. You can't have a positive life with a negative attitude. That's what it really boils down to right there. And that's truly one of the difficult challenges in life. Oh my God, all of these things that have happened that make me unhappy, and they're just constant and they never end. I mean, shit, we talk about a lot of it here on, what's going on in the world and about how miserable it is.
Before we get too far away from that last video, I want to address this. Yes, Carol, it is fluoride free, but I would implore you to please try No BS. We are not sponsored by them at all.
Nope.
We were using Tom's, and then Aaron actually told us about No BS on TikTok, and we ordered it. 1,050% better. It is so much better. I'm actually looking into doing some kind of affiliate with them because they are that good. Are you pulling up No BS?
I'm trying to. They got what? They got all sorts of new flavors. Hold on.
Yes, they do.
They got grapefruit.
Yeah. So just trust me when I say that No BS is so much better. I get it from the TikTok shops. And I am actually thinking about doing some kind of affiliate with them because they are that good. But we wanted to try it first, and we've been
using it. We just haven't
now.
been
pushing it.
We haven't been pushing it. I mean, we talk about it every now and then.
Yeah,
but
that right there. Esto says Tom's was bought out years ago.
Well,
when they were bought out, that's when it really changed to more chemically.
And we just ran out of the No BS tablets for a couple of days, and I had to go back to the Tom's. I noticed that there was a chemical burn when I thought that Tom's felt super clean and kind of chemical free, kind of like a lot better, cleaner toothpaste. Based off of my experience, I can tell you that going back to the Tom's after having used the knobs or No BS, that it felt very different. It also felt a lot more abrasive. It felt like it was scraping off enamel off of my teeth. I believe that the No BS, on the other hand, is a lot more gentle. My mouth feels cleaner longer. And it doesn't have all of that like harsh, what was it, like a solvent. It kind of like the Tom's tasted like a solvent with sandpaper in it in comparison. So yeah, definitely try the No BS. It's an old formula that's been around since before all the fluoride toothpaste. It's the way toothpaste used to be. There's really nothing significant or new about it. It's just happening now, and they're doing it, and it seems to be working good. So yeah, I put their link up there. And certainly check them out. F. Clint says, ooh, it has xylitol. I don't know. I guess I don't know about xylitol, but I can tell you that it's better than fluoride.
Yeah.
Some of the other crap they're using. And made in Mexico to boot. What does that have to do with anything? Everything's made in Mexico, F. Clint.
I know. The good soda's made in Mexico, F. Clint.
Yeah, F. Clint.
Anyway, back to the video.
What about it?
Craig.
What?
Did you have anything else about what Craig was talking about? A negative mind?
Oh, I don't even know how I got off on the toothpaste rant.
Because of the Tom's. I didn't want to get too far away from
the Tom's. Anyways, you can't have a positive life with a negative attitude. So maintaining an idea, it's you kind of have your own watcher inside of your head where you're watching your physical, emotional, and just your being. And when you recognize that you have that negative vibrational frequency, it's absolutely important to try to put that positivity in there. You have to be able to keep that positivity going, even when things are negative. You know, recognize that this too shall pass. Just like the good times pass, the bad times pass too. And so we try to keep that positive mindset because we recognize that we're going through a journey and not really seeking a destination. And it's that focus on the destination of the level in life that we would like to achieve, or whatever it is. It's that completion that we seek, when in all actuality, what we should be enjoying is the journey to it. It's very rarely the peak of the mountain that is the most exciting. That is the victory, but the challenges to and from the peak can be just as fun, if not more exciting. So it's trying to keep that explorer's mindset in your mind will truly help keep that positivity going. That's all I got on that one.
Steph says, I'll go back and rewatch the show after a while and leave a comment because I'm so far behind, but I'm going to listen and try and join in. I'm off the phone, I think.
Good luck, Steph.
Steph, tell them that from this time to this time is your time and leave you alone.
Whatever.
I'm just kidding, Steph.
You do you, Steph.
You do you, Steph. I love you. You ready?
Yes.
We're going to talk about prepping on a budget.
Prepping on a budget.
Ready?
Beans and rice.
I'm a prepper, and if you see me in the Dollar Tree, you should know what's about to happen because you can prep on a budget. Let's go find some cheap preps. First thing's water. First stop, though, you know where I'm going. They're out of Sterno cans. Next, you're going to get plastic silverware because you don't want to be wasting your water cleaning dishes. The candles always win. I'm always adding candles to my preps. We are always stocking up on personal hygiene products. Let's talk about my favorite part of my bargain bins right here. Keep building those bins. Ooh, this one's a goodie find. We are always stocking up on more personal hygiene. And before you brand snobs get in my comment section, if SHTF happens, I don't care what's going in my hair. I just want to clean. Don't forget bars of soap. The Dollar Tree is a gold mine for preps. And yes, I pick up dog waste bags when I go prepping because I don't want to live with my dog's shit. Nothing needs to be said because I love my snacks. And yes, you can get rice to Mylar here for $1.25. And beans and lentils. Now remember, you can prep on a budget, and if anybody has a problem with you being a prepper, they need to mind their business.
Thoughts?
What imbecile would get their panties in a bunch that someone else is prepping, especially based off of all the shit that we've been through? I mean, we had that baby formula shortage there for how long?
Exactly.
I mean, there was baby shortage just on the other side of the border, but that's, you know, not the president's problem or the vice president's problem for that matter, apparently. So, yeah, if anybody has a problem with prepping, it's like, have you not had any issues? I mean, must be nice to be oblivious to what's going on in the world around you.
Yes. And you can prep on a budget. There's nothing wrong with going to the Dollar Tree and getting rice and beans,
carbs and protein. I mean,
exactly,
and cheap.
And whatchamacallit, the hygiene products, soap, shampoo. As long as your hair's clean, it doesn't matter what brand it is. Plus, like she said, plastic utensils. You're not going to want to use your precious water to try and clean dishes, clean silverware.
All right, I'm going to put this one out here right now. I use the same MRE spoon for months at a time. It goes in the little pin pocket and you hold it there and you just wipe it off. You'll be fine. Don't waste water on shit like that.
See, they call her crazy for prepping.
I just did it this weekend and I've also been called crazy for it. Well, you know what? I mean, who's the crazy ones?
Yeah.
Who's the crazy one? The people that think that everything's going to go out just fine? Oh, yeah. Just ask everybody in the Carolinas right now how well the government's going to be there to save your ass. But yeah, by all means, keep putting your trust and faith in mankind as opposed to recognizing, hey, you know what? Maybe I should be in charge of my own, I don't know, food and water.
Exactly.
Just in case everything goes down.
Happens. And if the same people that call you crazy would be knocking on your door going, can we have some food?
Yeah. There you go. Carol's got the real answer.
Extra coffee.
Extra coffee is a must.
Carol. You are 1000% correct.
Side note, life pro tip for the guys out there, have a secret stash of Hershey's chocolate powder. Lots of it. So that way you can just have it out in little dime baggies and you can throw it at them when they get mad. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Chocolate fixes a lot of stuff for us guys. Just saying.
Anyway, you can prep
Extra
on
chocolate.
prep on a budget, prep on a budget, prep on a budget.
It doesn't take a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Jenny says, exactly. Coffee is a muster. The ugly comes out of me. Boy, that's the
Yes.
truth. Me too.
Me too.
Yeah. Let's see. Esto says, last century, Girl Scouts learned some basic skills, how to brush teeth with limited water, etc. I have instant coffee. Instant coffee. Oh, the humanity. I'll say a couple of Our Fathers and a Hail Mary for you.
Yes.
Instant coffee. That's sacrilegious.
See, she has shelves downstairs that she keeps stocked and rotate, and that's what you're supposed to do.
Oh, the instant coffee is for the people who didn't prep for their own coffee.
Yeah,
I got you.
exactly. Esto, give the instant coffee to people you don't like.
Yeah, that's barter material.
That's yes. Because people are going to need that because they're dumb. Exactly, for emergencies.
Yeah.
Yep. Are you ready?
Oh, something that's often overlooked other than the chocolate, I would highly recommend playing cards and board games.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of time.
Yes, there is.
And maybe some survival books or two, like that old Boy Scouts handbook that I showed once upon a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You ready?
Yep.
Could you please read that?
Will Kane calls out hold on, I'm not wearing my glasses. Will Kane calls out the ridiculous ways Washington is spending money.
You ready?
Well, they've always been
I know.
spending money ridiculously.
I know, it's just the
new Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, is aiming to wipe out unnecessary government spending. Here's some cuts that they could consider. Check this out. Over $500,000 from the National Institutes of Health awarded to Russian labs to study cats walking on treadmills. How about $39 million to oversee DEI efforts? $50 million, I'm serious, to study monkeys, testing how they performed while on meth and injecting them with female hormones. $1.3 billion in checks sent by the federal government to people who have already passed away, and $7 billion wasted on empty federal buildings. Now, Doge is beginning to recruit. They issued this tweet saying, in part, quote, "We need super high IQ small government revolutionaries willing to work 80 hours a week for unglamorous cost-cutting jobs." Here to discuss is CEO of the watchdog Open the Books, John Hart. Hey, John, thanks for being with us this morning. Let's talk about Doge. We just walked through some of the more ridiculous ways the federal government spends money. But what we really want to know is, can Doge make significant percentage-wise cuts to getting a more efficient federal government?
Yeah, Will, thanks for having me. The answer is absolutely. This is a brand new move or brand new commission, but this is already a movement. The American people are demanding more control over their tax dollars and their own destiny, because every dollar saved in Washington is a dream realized somewhere in America. So what we've seen is, for decades, politicians have been expanding federal agencies, but Doge is about expanding your agency and your ability to pursue the American dream on your terms. So what we've pointed out at Open the Books is we've built the biggest database of spending in history.
Mm-hmm.
We have 10 billion lines of code, and you can very quickly get to $200 or $300 billion through some of the things you just pointed out. We can go after things like duplication in the federal government, improper payments, Medicare fraud, getting rid of DEI. We did some great reports on DEI, Department of Education, HHS.
Right.
And so once you do that, then what I think Elon Musk and Vivek are going to point out are new efficiencies, ways to use technology like AI to take those savings much further. And then once you win the support and trust of the American people, again, with this movement, this bottom-up movement, you can begin to look at these bigger ticket items like entitlement spending that you really need to think about reforming to get at $2 trillion.
Well, I want to share with the audience, you can take a look at the way that federal government spending has grown since, I believe it's since the 1960s up through today. And it's just, it's beyond inflationary. It is explosive. Vivek, for example, has talked about things like the number of federal employees obviously being inefficient and overbloated. But he's even talked about, like, social security numbers, every other, odd and even, letting people go within the federal government. And whether or not that's the mechanism or not, the point is there needs to be significant cost cutting, significant beyond just identifying the absurdities. Can we scale this thing down to efficiency?
Yeah, I think absolutely. Look, my boss, former boss, Tom Coburn, was on the Simpson-Bowles Debt Commission, and he was able to get rid of earmarks and actually help bring about the only spending cut in American history since the end of the Korean War. And he didn't have Elon Musk on the side. He didn't have Vivek on the side, or even a president that was supporting what we were doing 10 or 15 years ago.
Right.
So when you have the American people at your back and you have Elon Musk, turning the bully pulpit up to 11, they can go much farther than we ever thought we could go 10 or 15 years ago. And look, and I think you have to think of this. This is not a demolition project. This is a restoration and renovation project. Imagine buying an old home that's been poorly updated, has bad insulation, and it was owned by a hoarder that had all the stuff. People can relate to that project of let's renovate it. Let's bring back the original splendor of what this American idea is. And that's what Doge is all about.
Well, Musk's role in this, I suspect, has to be bigger than simply making recommendations to Congress. It's going to have to find some accountability or enforcement mechanism for members of Congress who don't choose to walk down the path of efficiency. So we'll keep up with what he does on an ongoing basis. We appreciate you being with us this morning, John Hart.
You bet. Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kill.
Thoughts, sir?
The Department of Government Efficiency, we've known for a long time. Reagan even talked about it. It was his quote: the bureaucracy is expanding to meet the need of the expanding bureaucracy.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't stopped.
I know.
So there's going to be some pain. There's going to be a lot of pain for the people who were riding that gravy train. But the government was never supposed to be a gravy train. As a matter of fact, it was considered treason once upon a time to milk off the government's tit because you just felt like you needed a free ride.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is that the government's become more of a free ride than it ever has been. The government has a very important job, and that's to look after the people. And the government and the employees with their unions against the people of the United States have been a real problem and preventing the government from working the way it should be. And those unions, the government unions, the unions that are against the people of the United States, and for the select minority of people who manage to get into those government jobs, those are the real problems. Mm-hmm. And those are the things that are going to get fixed. They don't have a right to get fat off of the government. It's not what the government's here for. Nobody's supposed to get fat and rich off of the government itself. And it's been happening for way too long. Making sure that your buddy gets that multi-million-dollar contract. You just got to make sure that your buddy is remunerated some way, somehow, and done in some shady ass way. We know how the system works, and we don't like it, and we don't appreciate it because we realize the rest of us are getting screwed, and we're tired of getting screwed. So I think that we're all going to take some pleasure in the house cleaning that's going to happen.
Yes.
Not necessarily going to take pleasure in other people's pain, but they've neglected what it is they were actually there for. And that was to prevent the majority of Americans going through pain, so that way they could live a good life and select their friends who they want to have a good life. Again, really, really corrupt. And we're tired of it. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that there's going to be some cleaning, because it's just way too big. You weren't ever supposed to get a high wage. As a matter of fact, working for the government meant that you were necessarily going to get paid less. Yeah. But what you got in return was a solid retirement. Thanks, Obama, for destroying the military retirement and transitioning it into some stock market gamble play that benefits your friends over there at BlackRock and Vanguard, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. I look forward to things changing. It's just going to be some tears that we have to deal with. And we're going to have to let them know that we just don't care about your alligator tears because you didn't care about any of us.
Right.
Steph says, absolutely, Santino. When you make more than the president of the United States, we have a problem, a bad problem. Yeah. If you're in the government, nobody should be making more than the president. It's the most important job we have.
Exactly. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please?
It's not just about Trump. Black Americans are waking up to the lies of the entire Democrat plantation party.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
My grandma told me, they say you hear what people say, but you watch what they do. We've been hearing what the Democrats say for so long, and it sound good and it feel good. But we watching what they do, and they ain't doing shit. We hear what Trump say. It sound crazy. But when I watch what Trump do, and I go back and I look at real facts about how this man went to court every single day with Michael Jackson, how him and Don King was super, super cool, how this man was on the Wu-Tang Clan album, how when Jennifer Hudson's family was murdered, he put them up in Trump Tower for 6 months, protected them, didn't charge them a dime. How he sent his private jet to go get Nelson Mandela out of prison. How he gave Rainbow Push and Jesse Jackson $1 million to get started, to get activated in the black community. How he gave me and Kwame Kilpatrick pardons to restart. I hear what people say and I watch what they do. I hear people saying they mad about Trump about the Central Park 5, and I get that. But then I know Trump passed the First Step Act, which done freed close to 20,000 people to this day, including Big Meech getting out on some of that sentencing reduction. That ain't got nothing to do with Kamala though. That's Trump in the First Step Act. But then I hear what Biden's saying, but I know Biden responsible for the 94 crime bill and the crack cocaine disparity, the thing that took all the real niggas off the streets. This is what Trump's First Step Act was in retrospect to that. Trump's First Step Act overturned that 94 crime bill. That's why we see all the real ones come home. That's why we stuck with a generation of Lil Nas X.
Chills on my back right now.
All of this was strategic. Wipe all the real men off the street, push this agenda. Because if the real men were in the home, we wouldn't see this like this. So you watched your mama be this pillar of strength. You modeling behavior, go back to psychology. And then we watching agendas on TV. Unfortunately, the Democrat Party of the day ain't the same Democrat Party that grandma done raised us on. A lot of us is Democrat because that's what grandma done was on. We're going to be honest. We don't even know why we Democrat. That's just what we on because we black. Grandma and them said it. The policies have changed. Times have changed. We cannot be educated on abortion and Margaret Sanger and the racism in abortion and vote for it. You can't say Black Lives Matter and vote to kill the black life that you create and then be mad at white people. Black women. We so stuck up in this feminism with having a choice that we got to feel liberated that we don't even realize the consequences of our actions. Like, we want to run around here and call a man a deadbeat if he don't want the baby, but bitch, you can go kill the baby and get a pat on the back when you don't want it. And at the same time, they screaming equal rights. They don't really want equal rights. They want control. And I don't want that much control. I don't want the right to kill my children. And if people gonna hate me for that, oh well. But you know, people waking up now. But I think what the issue is, again, we so stuck on racism. Like, they use this whole racism thing to try to control us when, you know, if I'm gonna be 100% honest, everybody that I know that was murdered, that I love, that was taken away from me, was taken away from me by somebody black. Like, I don't even know nobody that was killed by a white police officer. I'm not taking away from that. I'm not saying that it don't deserve justice. But I'm saying, on one hand, we get totally upset and blame it at the hands of racism. Then on the other hand, it's the same act. It's just by one person with light colored skin and the other person with dark colored skin.
Thoughts?
She's talking about the programming that's been on the television forever and a day that has got us to exactly where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
See, the thing is I've seen some solid black families that are a beacon of what any family should try to follow in terms of the strength of the family unit. And it's not a color thing. It was never a color thing, except for the fact that the very Democratic Party that has blinded and fooled so many people, has made it so that way people believe this lie. And the thing is that lie just ain't holding anymore. People are waking up to the fact that that lie is actually just that. People aren't accepting the fact that everything that they've been told by the Democratic Party up to this point in time has never come to fruition. You know, they've put these big celebrities on the news and TV, and we hear about them for decade after decade after decade because they were once upon a time connected to somebody who actually cared about the black people without thinking about their own pocketbooks first. Now, people are getting savvy to that lie, and people are getting wise to the game that's been pulled over all of our eyes, and we're not taking it anymore. And the thing is now that an entire like sectors of our society, and not just blacks. The blacks have been decimated by the garbage policies that the Democratic Party has put out there, and that hasn't helped them out in ever. But the thing is now that people are waking up, they're going to hear who Margaret Sanger is and how Margaret Sanger really felt about black people when she started Planned Parenthood back in the day. And it was specifically to take out more black children than anybody else in the entire planet. You can take all of the racism, that the KKK, the entirety of the KKK, and they still haven't come close to what Planned Parenthood has done in terms of really ruining black families. And it's not just black families. It's white families that they're trying to break up. It's Hispanic families. It's Asian families. It's all of the families. It's the family unit that they want to destroy. Yet at the same time, it's the Rockefeller family. It's the Rothschild family. It's the DuPont family. Name the Astors, name a family name. They understand the value of a strong family unit. I guess it would just make it easier for them to take over the world if they were the only family units working together. So really, truly, in the end, our job as people is to create the exact opposite of what they want. So we need to go out of our way to make sure that we're building that strong family unit. I know that I've failed miserably as creating a strong family unit, but I can tell you right now, all of my efforts are doubled down, and I'm putting it all on making sure that our family can heal and get back together. Now, how far that goes is entirely up to God, but I understand that God cares about families. After all, it's that whole cleaving together as one. Well, entire family units can make sure that they can take care of their family members that need that little bit of extra assistance, that families can make sure that their kids and the young ones across the entire family have that chance that the older generations didn't have. It's about working together, and those are the things that are truly important. So really, if you want to piss off the elites that want the destruction of America, just make sure that your family's strong, and make sure other people are making sure their family is strong, and that's the primary thing after their relationship with their creator that matters the most. Little Lunker, yeah, Little Lunker went over there. Pilled. Hey, Little Lunker. Sounds much better over here.
That's awesome.
Esto says black families were strong and they started there. The experiment worked, so they targeted other groups. There it is.
Yep.
There it is. Steph says, I don't know about y'all, but I'm a mutt. I'm Indian, Italian, Irish, and English. I'm a mutt. I'm Italian and German. Means that I want to drink a lot, take over the whole world, but I'm too lazy to do anything about it.
I'm Scottish and German, so I just have a hot ass temper.
Yeah, well, that's the truth.
So, you ready?
Yes.
And I'm clear. Y'all just got more melanin than me, so.
She just processes sunlight better.
Yeah, I burn.
She moonburn.
I burn, I peel. I burn, I peel. I burn, I peel. That's it.
But don't use the appeal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got sassy earmuffs.
Earmuffs.
Listen here, y'all go have to come get your boy now, okay? You go have to come get him. Who's your boy? That's me. I swear to God, these ain't worth a damn. It's some of that dollar holler dumb shit. I was honey, what the fuck? It fell right off the bottom. My bougie ass out here shopping like it's 1999. I'm out here buying groceries like Trump done already been in office for 3 years. I'm out here buying chicken like it's 2009. I'm out here getting hamburger meat like it's 2016. I'm out here getting eggs like it's 1997. I mean, I'm eating this chicken like I'm married to. I'm about to eat the quarter out of this chicken. I just got the top row of my buggy full of groceries. It's a little thing you sit your little sperm demons on. The legs out, where you put your purse at. Your empty purse. 106. I can't even say. I'm about to have another chicken leg. Feeling weak. $166. I don't get Joe stepped down right now, honey. I'm going to come live with some of y'all. Honey, he ain't even in the White House, and I'm out here acting like I can afford to eat. To put my big back to the test. I'm going to sit right in this car, eat this whole ass chicken right in front of this homeless person. Now, back up, get me.
Thoughts?
What, about how expensive all of the food is? I know. God. I remember the days when eggs weren't like bougie.
I know.
Now it's just go to the fast food place and grab packets of ketchup.
Right.
Thanks, Obama.
I know.
We're eating more than ketchup, just so y'all know. It
They
kind of
charge
feels
you
like
for
that.
ketchup
Yeah.
now.
They charge you for ketchup now?
Yes.
Of course.
Mhm.
Of course they do.
Over on Pills, Lil Lunker says, this family is with you guys now. Not blood, but we care.
Oh.
Boom. Thank you, Lil Lunker.
Thank
and
you.
Lil Lunker says, I call myself a Heinz 57, German, French, and Irish.
I mean,
See, we're all just
y'all are a bunch of
humans.
crackers.
Crackers. That's okay.
Ketchup sandwich is always good.
See? Oh, Steph and her bougie chickens.
Oh, yeah, her chickens. Aaron's got chickens too.
I know, and so
Right.
does Carol.
So does
and
Carol.
Lil Lunker.
And Lil Lunker.
You ready?
Yeah, I'd like to get her own chickens.
I know.
Oh, you're not asking if I'm ready for chickens.
Yes, I want chickens.
Yeah,
too.
I do too.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right.
Our Father is rich in both mercy and grace. But what does that mean to you? Only through the shed blood and resurrection of his Son are we counted spotless. He removes our sin from us as far as the east is from the west. And he counts them no more once we become children of his through the sacrifice of Jesus. Father, we cry out to you for your mercy and your grace on this nation, its people. Though so many have turned their back on you, there's still so many who come to you now. His word tells us that this is the confidence that we have before him. If we ask anything according to his will, that he hears us. And if we know that he hears us in whatever we ask, we know that we already possess what we've asked him for. Father, we cry out to you now. Shine your face upon us, upon this country, our leaders. Turn the hearts of the lost to you. Ignite a revival in America unlike anything that's ever been seen before, or anything that will ever be seen again, showing all who bear witness your glory. Father, we approach your throne in confidence, knowing that what we ask, you've already given us. In confidence in the name of Jesus Christ and his sacrifice, his resurrection, are we able to do this. Our Lord, our King, and our Savior. God bless you. I love you.
Thoughts?
Faith and confidence. How many of y'all had absolute faith and confidence that President Trump was going to win?
Me. I did. I did.
I know a lot of people had the faith and confidence, but the thing is there was a lot of struggles and there was still some worry there. But the thing is we were all asking for Trump to win with everything that we have. And so we should have had that faith and the belief and knowledge that it was going to happen. And that if it didn't, everything was going to be fine. But in the end, that is that kind of faith that we were looking for. And if you did have that faith the whole time, that's great. Keep working on it and keep making sure that you build that faith for everything that you have, everything that you pray for and believe that the Lord will provide to you. It does happen. It does happen. And if it doesn't happen, well, then it was for our own good. So have that faith and know that that our prayers weren't just all, we didn't use up our last good prayer by getting Trump back into office, and that there's still plenty of prayers, and that energy and that feeling that you put into the prayers about saving this nation is the exact same way that we should be praying and have that faith and confidence that he will provide those things for us. Things are about to look really good, and a lot of prayers are about to be answered, and not
still not tired of winning.
Yeah, still not tired of winning, and not the prayers that are to be negative towards any of God's creations, so much as the prayers that are going to bring the positivity and love that he wants. And those are the things that we should focus on, and those are the things that most assuredly we should believe are going to happen at some point in time in our lives.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please?
UFC heavyweight champion John Jones does the dance, then hands Trump his belt.
This is what Chachi was talking
Yeah,
about.
I saw this. This
Ready?
is amazing. Yeah.
He did the Trump dance. He did the Trump dance. Spinning back kick to the body, followed by the Trump dance.
John Jones sharing the belt there with the President-elect Donald Trump. Americans, largely historically, have realized the most success in the UFC. And the greatest American fighter of all time is that man, John Bones Jones, now successful in the first defense of his heavyweight title. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of UFC. Easy to celebrate, easy to enjoy. And celebrating they are indeed in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in Endicott.
Thoughts, sir?
How about that? Of course, we know that the UFC has loved Trump this whole time. They've been very, very loud about their support for President Trump. And, you know, I think that what we observed there is kind of how we all feel. We all want to do the little Trump dance because we're excited and happy in the victories and all of those good feelings that we get about it. And then to hand Trump the belt, which is truly, you know, kind of neat to see because Trump is the champion. There was so many like nonverbal communications that were going on there that I think that we all feel. And I know that these are all feel good stories and there's a lot of real stuff going on in the world around us right now. But I think it's time for us to make sure that we are relishing and enjoying the victory. See, the thing is it's like plowing a field as a farmer. You know, it's a lot of work. It's long hours and you do so much for it. But if you don't take the time to take a look at the fields after you plowed them and got everything done, and you don't say to yourself, you know what? That's nice. It looks good. It was done well. And I appreciate what's going on. If we don't do that, then that means that we're not giving the appreciation to the situation that we've been asking for this entire time. So let's make sure that we enjoy the celebrations and that we appreciate the victory and the moments, not to get lost in them, but we also can't lose the thought of being able to appreciate the good things in life. And friends, this is one of those good things in life.
Mm-hmm.
F. Clint says, poor guy was just showing him the belt and he didn't dare ask for it back. I love President Trump too, Carol.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, Steph. Hard work.
Yep. You ready?
Yeah, I know.
I got Preston.
All right.
So many Americans are rightfully concerned with Joe Biden's authorization to Zelensky to use long-range missiles into Russia against Russian forces and Vladimir Putin. Let's talk about it and what you can do to change the outcome. I want to first say, look, this is my own personal opinion. It is not reflective of any campaign I've ever worked on or any elected representative. However, I absolutely condemn this move 100%, and millions of Americans do as well, simply because we know that Vladimir Putin made it very clear what the repercussions would be if in the event a U.S. long-range missile were to land in Russia. And if you are not up to speed on what that means, it basically means that W3 has never been closer than it is today, especially if Zelensky makes the decision to launch that long-range missile. Here's where you come in as the American people. It is imperative that you reach out to your elected members of Congress and you demand that they not only condemn this authorization, but that they use every tool in their arsenal to revoke this authorization and do whatever they need to do to save America, Ukraine, and Russia. Look, my goal is to make sure that the 119th Congress that begins on January 3rd at 12 noon works harder for the American people than any Congress before. So let's begin now by reaching out to our elected members of Congress and making our demands heard. If you do not know who your House representative and your senator are, then you can go to the link in my bio, quick lookup tool. It gives you all their information, including their phone numbers here in DC, their email addresses, and some have their websites and social medias linked. After you call and you email, then begin to flood their social media with your demands. Don't forget, America, you are the ones who hired these individuals to work for you. If you do not agree with this decision, then you must take action, stand up, and speak out. And you might as well just save their phone numbers in your phone, because this is going to be an ongoing effort over the next 2 years to make sure that they do hear from every single one of their constituents on a regular basis, making demands as to what the American people want out of them while they work in the 119th Congress. So I know many of you out there are scared of what the potential outcome of this authorization may be, especially for the American people. But let me just remind you The same God who brought us to victory 3 weeks ago is the same God sitting on the throne today that is watching over not only Americans, but the people of Ukraine and the people of Russia. He is the same God that is giving guidance to those leaders in charge. He is the same God that is going to make sure that everything works according to his plan. So please, although your faith may be tested, think back to November 5th and just how overwhelmed you were at the presence and power of God taking place across this entire country. He's still the same God. Much love. God bless. Keep the faith. Don't forget, do pay a phone call, an email, and social media message to your elected members of Congress.
Thoughts, sir?
Wow. Really learned about that one the hard way. Sent so many letters to our representatives out here, both congressional and senatorial, and got a big FU from them. Maybe not those words specifically, but canned letters that had absolutely nothing to do with what I was talking about. You know, but I guess our job is still to harass the shit out of them, because just because they don't do their job, just because they don't do their job doesn't mean that it's still not our responsibility to send them the messages that they have to ignore, which they've done so well with everything I've ever sent to them. Now that I think about it, doesn't matter which state I've been to. I've sent messages to a lot of congressmen and senators, and they just haven't given a shit. But I have a feeling that that's about to change soon. And the thing is we can't just give up. We got to keep on. We got to keep on sending those letters to our representatives because it's their job. And if they don't do their job, then it's easier to get them removed. Now, with the corruption that a lot of them may or may not have used to get their office or stay in it, doesn't mean that it's going to be that way forever. All those records are official. And the fact that we tried to say something, so make sure you're saying something. And then when the investigations come around, it can just be one more thing where we can say, you're a traitorous piece of shit who never gave a shit about the people that you were representing because you were too busy stealing all of the people's money for your own pockets and your friends to make sure that, well, you could just be a traitorous, usurping piece of shit who stole the country from the people. But good luck with that. Esto says our senators went against their constituents and the Idaho Republican Party for Senate leader. They've shown their colors, waking up a lot of people here.
Good.
A lot of people are waking up all over the place, and it's certainly not a Democrat thing. Well, at least not exclusively. Bill says it may very well look like Gettysburg in some heavy cabal-controlled state. Yeah. I don't believe that. I don't believe that we're going to get there. And I know that people are talking about a scare event and stuff like that. You know, I just don't know if we're going to have the scare event that we may have had otherwise. I think that things have changed in comparison to what a lot of people were expecting. And I think that Q set us up with pray for the best, expect the worst. But we may not have to expect the worst. I have a feeling that things are going to go a little bit more smoothly than originally intended. But I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that so many Americans are waking up not only to the truth of what's been going on, but the truth of our creator and the fact that our government and those who have been supporting the corrupt aspects of our government have been lying to us and making us think that there is no God and that we're the gods. But that's all going away. So I do believe things have changed. I don't know if they could pull off the alien thing that so many of us were expecting. I know I was excited about Project Bluebeam, but my hopes have been kind of dashed. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm just looking for winning so much that I'm sick and tired of winning. Carol says, I've never sent a letter. I don't blame you. They probably weren't going to listen anyway.
But doesn't hurt to try.
Doesn't hurt to try. Yeah. Let's see. Bill says at Chachi, wherever they bust migrants into. Yeah, there's going to be some cities that are going to see some shrinking populations. And then Steph says, and there's still the Brunson case out there. Actually, I've been looking at the Brunson's website. He's changed it. I think a lot of that stuff has been shot down, but I have a feeling that there are other plays that are going to be made that's going to clean out the Supreme Court and the corrupt justices that were put there, probably by a corrupt president that was there. But we'll see how that plays out. But that's kind of where the looking glass that I'm using is kind of pointing to. I think it's called the Magic 8 Ball.
Yeah.
Chachi says, Brother Bill, I know that in Chicago, my buddy lives by one of the migrant encampments. The Latin King street gangs are keeping an eye on migrants in that hood. And that's, kind of what we're expecting.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to be making a breakout unless they're trying to cross the border
Exactly.
the other way.
Yeah. So Little Lunker, because, she went over to Pill.
Yeah, over to Pill.
You just have to click on the agree or disagree. There's a little red and a little blue. So whichever one you want to do.
Whichever.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
God is saying to you today, I've watched you. I've watched everything you've been through. I've watched you fall. I've watched you get hurt. I've watched you fight and get back up. I've watched you learn. I've watched you grow. I've also watched how hard you've been working to become the best version of yourself. I see your heart today, and it's beautiful. It's pure, and it's ready to be loved the same way that I love you. So get ready, because what's coming next will be everything you have been praying for. I love you, my child. I am with you always and forever.
Thoughts, sir?
All right. Everything that we prayed for is about to come true. Boy, do I believe that. Boy, do I believe that. So much of what we've been praying for, that we've been sitting off to the side, that we've been patient with the least impatient people on the planet. And we've tried to help them, and they haven't cared because they haven't had to care. And now that our prayers are getting answered, those people that ostracized us and didn't want anything to do with us and called us stupid and crazy and this and that and the other thing, well, they're going to find out that maybe we weren't as crazy as they thought, and that their brilliance wasn't as bright as they had hoped. But the good thing is that's how we get our reconciliation. It's how we find the way to love each other again, is by them recognizing the errors of how they treated everybody that they disagreed with, and our forgiveness to their piss poor behavior. But the thing is what we're really looking for is that love and community and sense of belonging that has been denied us by those within the mainstream media, the legacy media that's going down, and those individuals within the government who have been perpetuating these destructive policies towards everything that is America. Once those goes away, I think we'll all find a way to like each other again and recognize that neither of us was ever the bad guy. We just reacted poorly to the stimulus that we were being given. And now that stimulus is going away, bygones will have a chance to be bygones, and we can get back to the business of being what America really is. Bill says Brunson case was settled, and Brunson signed an NDA for the safety, blah, blah, words. It's gone.
Safety of the public right now.
Oh, okay. And then Little Unker says, amen to that. I never walk alone. I believe God has heard us all crying out. I agree with that 100%. And then Bill says, DJT is already in office. I don't know if he's in office yet, but I think that those who have been pulling the strings will continue to be there and help with that transition, make sure it's smoothly and that it happens here in the near future.
Yep. You ready?
There's a lot of stuff we're not going to hear about. And I'm going to go ahead and put it out here now that RFK Jr. will, or not RFK Jr., but JFK Jr., John is not going to come out and say that he's still alive. I just don't believe that that's going to happen. I think that we'll keep getting little hints of his existence and presence in this world, but I don't believe that it'll be a coming out kind of party that I think so many people, myself included, were hoping for.
Yep. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
A wise man once said, discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline, that's the voice in your head that whispers, even when you're tired, sore, or uninspired, urging you to push through. Discipline doesn't care if you're ready. It demands you show up every single day, no excuses. The Stoics believed that true strength lies in consistent action, not fleeting feelings. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. That's where real growth happens. Every time you conquer that inner resistance, you're forging yourself into something stronger. The more you commit, the more you start to love the process. And soon, what once seemed unbearable becomes your path to greatness. Discipline is power. Master it, and the world will bend to your will. Don't wait for motivation. Create it.
Don't wait for motivation. Create it. Iron sharpens iron. However you want to word it. Remember that as we move along, pardon me, we can make everything better. It's about having the positive mindset. Don't be stuck in the negative. Don't be thinking that, oh, the shoe's going to drop. Because like Santino had said earlier, whether it's a good time in your life or a bad time in your life, this too shall pass. So remember that as we move forward, all we want to do is stay in that positive mindset and know that everything's going to be okay. Because we have found our tribe. We are with our family. And that is the most important thing. Every single day when we come on the show, I know that we're going to have great conversations with you guys and that it's going to be an amazing time. And we wouldn't still be doing this 2 years later if it wasn't for the fact that we absolutely love each and every one of you guys.
And discipline.
Anyway.
Lots of discipline.
Because it takes a lot to do the show. And there's so many other things that I could be doing, but it's worth it. It's worth it every day because I know that when Saturday and Sunday roll around, you know, I do miss you guys. I miss the conversation and I miss the love that I feel. Seasoning?
Yes. Plato said that the first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. Conquering yourself is discipline. In the end, it's us as individuals who are our greatest enemies. We're the ones that prevent us from getting the things that we desire most. And it's because we end up making decisions sometimes more based on what's going to provide comfort right now, as opposed to the long-term vision victory that we're actually looking for.
Yes.
And it's that discipline to say no when the victory is right there, when the victory that we're actually looking for is so much further down the road. We can't compromise on ourselves and what we know to be right and true. So we must discipline ourselves and make sure that what we have fixated in our mind and in our mind's eye, that is the goal that we're going after. You know, this is how every UFC champion, boxer, whatever, has made it to where they're at. Professional ball player, whatever, you name it.
Go sports.
Go sports. It's because they had the discipline. And that's truly the thing that we're all in admiration of, is that discipline to get to that top level. So know that you can do all of the things it is you desire to do. It's just how bad do you actually want it? And how bad you actually want it really boils down to whether or not you're going to discipline yourself to keep moving on when it looks like you can't any longer. There's always more within you to get to the things that you want, need, and desire in life. So make sure you are disciplining yourself so that way you can achieve what it is you desire. Esther says, I'm always glad when I can make the live stream and feel uplifted afterwards. Feel the love of God and fellow humans here. That's amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. Steph says, I feel the same, Kay. I look forward to the 7 o'clock every night. That's why I hate it when anybody interrupts my time with my other family. Aw,
We love you.
aren't you guys special?
We
Thank
love
you.
you guys so much.
We do. Y'all are amazing. Anyways, well, with that being said, we appreciate each and every one of you showing up, and we'll see y'all again tomorrow, Tuesday, the 16th at 19th. Oh, that's right. What did I say? The 16th? Y'all know what the hell I mean. Tomorrow's the 19th. Get over it. Anyways, we'll see y'all tomorrow the 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. It's time to end this show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on YouTube or Rumble, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, you have like 7 choices. Just clickety click.
Clickety clickety. All right, everybody. We love you all. Have a great night. Be safe. God bless you, and God bless America.